Made by Artec Studios, Crystal's Pony Tales is an action-adventure game made for the Sega Genesis released in 1994. In the game, you play as a pony named Crystal, who is on a quest across Ponyland to save her friends who have been captured by the evil Storm Witch. Any relation to the Storm King? Who knows? It's entirely possible.
Huh, Ponyland. So I take it this takes place in My Little Pony Generation 1. Before there was an Equestria or a Ponyville, there was Ponyland. Although, that makes things a little confusing since this was released around the time My Little Pony Tales was out, so...
According to the story section in the manual, the Storm Witch woke up in a foul mood one morning and decided to wreak havoc on Ponyland by kidnapping a bunch of ponies and imprisoning them in scattered areas across the land. Who knows, maybe she was gonna do what T-Rex did and rescue at Midnight Castle and turn the ponies into Striodons and take over with the Rainbow of Darkness. However, our main pony, Crystal, was able to escape because she is a very shy pony who is rather distant around other ponies, meaning she was able to avoid being captured by the Storm Witch's spell.
Socially awkward pony who ends up befriending a bunch of other ponies and they end up saving the world against some kind of greater evil force? It all makes sense now! Crystal was actually a prototype for Twilight Sparkle!
Before we start the game, you actually have the ability to customize how Crystal looks in the game. So already pretty innovative for a 1990s video game. At least I think so. I haven't played many video games, aside from some MLPG3 games and the Friendship is Magic mobile game, obviously. In the first of 7 levels, we begin on a farm, which I can only assume is supposed to be Sweet Apple Acres. The first thing we're faced against is a puddle of water that flares water right up at you, as well as a sentient pumpkin that doesn't do anything but make faces at you. Yes, most of the enemies take the form of projectiles that are thrown at you, or animals that lunge into you, like bats.
Stop the bats, stop the bats, make them go and not come back. Stop the bats, stop the bats.
Birds, tumbleweeds, scarecrows, fish, bumblebees, spiders, and these cat people that throw things at you. Any relation to Capper? Who knows? It's entirely possible.
No, wait. That implies that this game is what inspired the 2017 My Little Pony movie. You know, the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life! Here's Sweet Celestia, trees with faces, that's really creepy. Oh, that's so scary. Pinkie Pie, please, make them go away. Giggle at the ghosties. Thank goodness. Thank you, Pinkie Pie.
Why are these creatures attacking? Were they summoned by the Storm Witch herself? What do they have to gain by attacking Crystal and stopping her from saving her friends? I don't know. There's no real explanation. Not in the game, not in the back of the box, not in the instruction manual. How you fend yourself against enemies in this game generally comes down to running into them, getting on your hind legs and doing some kind of frontal apple buck motion, and this will usually render them game ended or cause them to flee.
Again, I'm not too sure, Ariel. I may not be an avid gamer, but even I can't answer that question.
Instead of that, when you're hit by projectiles or enemies, you lose collectible items. Those items in question being horseshoes. Collecting enough of the horseshoes helps you progress to the next level through these horseshoe-shaped doors that you have to come across by the end of the level. If you mess around with the controller enough, you can access certain things in the areas to explore. Like in level 1, you can pull a wagon by standing in front of it and just messing with the buttons. You can also collect keys, which can be found virtually everywhere throughout most of the game, and are found in the form of puzzles, which I guess kinda serve as mini-games all throughout. These keys open up chests that have crystals inside of them. These crystals will help you rescue each of Crystal's friends. Now, one thing that could have made the game neat was if you had the ability to play as each of Crystal's friends once you rescued them at the end of each level. Think about it. You can alternate between a bunch of different ponies who each have different abilities, and each of these abilities can help you in a variety of different gameplay styles.
Oh, fair enough.
After you find your friends in locations like a tent or a circus wagon, you have to fight the Storm Witch as most of the boss sections. All of them play out exactly the same. She just charges at you, she disappears, and you have to apple buck her until you land at least 3 hits on her.
What else should I talk about? Hey Ariel, what else do video game reviewers usually talk about? That's a good idea. The graphics. They're, okay-ish.
Some of the textures, I guess, aren't the best, but most of the colors don't look too bad. Most of the characters, while nowhere near the level of perfection that is Friendship is Magic, don't look too bad, I suppose. Also, the background animations aren't too bad either. There is some effort on display here, which automatically gives it an A- for effort, right?
Well, Ariel, it's very simple. Rarity is Best Pony, and she is the element of generosity, so I like to think that I learned a thing or two from Best Pony. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the game is 7 levels long, usually involving saving her friends, collecting keys to chests, and enough horseshoes to get through these doors at the end of each level. Each boss fight is exactly the same. Well, now we've made it to the final level. All of Crystal's friends have been saved, and it's time to go up against the Storm Witch once and for all. And it's about as difficult as every other boss fight in this game. About 3 hits or so, and she's defeated for good. Oh hey, look at that! You won? Come join the party in the Pony Castle? Well, I know a certain pink party-loving pony who'd be happy to hear those words.
Hey, you know what this calls for? A party!
Well, that was Crystal's Ponytails, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm not much of an avid game person. I only have a couple MLP games at my disposal, but I mean, this game is pony themed, so I guess it has that going for it, right? As far as the entertainment factor goes, I don't know. This game didn't really do much for me, I guess. And I think that's mostly because a lot of this game is incredibly samey. From a lot of the items you have to collect to the boss fights basically being the same in every level. And as far as the story of the game goes, a lot of it was already done in Rescue at Midnight Castle and would eventually be done way better in the Friendship is Magic premiere. But for some positives, the graphics are pretty good. Nothing great, but you know, for an old 1990s video game, it looks okay, with a lot of the colors that they use and some of the texturing looks alright. Same goes for the music. It's nothing amazing, but it sounds fine for what it is. But for this brony, it's just okay. It's just okay. It's okay at best. It's just okay. Next time on Pony Fanboy Reviews, we're finally going to be jumping forward to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic's 4th season. But until then, I'm the Pony Fanboy, I fanboy over ponies, and you just listen.